Happy 2025. That is so crazy that we're finally here in January of 2025. I wanted to come on here and do a long form version of my 2024 reading wrap up. This has been quite a year for me. I have never read this many books in a year. I read 129 books in 2024. And from those books, I am going to be telling you some stats, my top favorites, and then going into my journal setup for 2025. Let's break down some of the statistics for 2024. So in 2024, like I said, I read 129 books. And in those books, I read 38,131 pages. From there, my top three genres were fantasy, romance, and horror/extreme horror. And then the last couple are just cozy mystery, historical fiction, classic, gothic, literary fiction, all kind of like around the same with like a handful of books, some dark academia as well. Of all of the books I've read, my top authors are Emma Hamm, who I read 9 of her books this year. Her fantasy books literally got me through this year. I love Emma Hamm, literally one of my top authors of all time. I also read 8 Sarah J. Maas books because I read the Throne of Glass series by her, and I'm actually currently about to finish the ACOTAR series in 2025. I just started A Court of Silver Flames, very much a fan. Ben Alderson was my 3rd most popular author of the year with 5 books read, tied with Nikki St. Croix for 3rd for 5 books as well. If you hear a jingle, my cat is playing around and you will hear his little bell jingle. And my 4th spot is tied with 5 different authors. Jen DeLuca, Sarah Cook, Melissa McSherry, Karina Hale, and Laurie Gilmore, all with 2 books each. These are my top 4 5-star reads of 2024. There are only 3 because I do not have a physical copy of the 4th one, but let's jump right in. You probably recognize some of these sprayed edges, so let me show you. First is The Spellshop by Sarah Beth Durst. This was a new 2024 release in the cozy fantasy genre. This was an August read, very late summer, early fall, and it is absolutely perfect. I fell in love with these characters, especially Kaz the spider plant. This is really good if you're looking for very low stakes, but still a lot of action happening to keep you interested, especially if you're into more of like a witchy side of cozy fantasy or just cozy reads in general. Very witchy, very late summer. This was everything. I think this is my top favorite cozy fantasy read I have ever read. I was lucky enough to get gifted this copy of The Spellshop from my friend Christina. I won, I think it was her 3K giveaway on Instagram, but I was so happy that she chose to send me this one, especially because it has these beautiful purple sprayed edges. I just think it is so perfect. I just love this book so much. Next is the chunkiest book I read this year, which technically this is an omnibus, so that means it's an entire series bound in one book copy. So there are technically 5 books within this, but they're all like 200 to 300 pages. This whole unit is 1,040 pages. So I read this in a couple weeks, this whole series. It is the Of Goblin Kings collection by Emma Hamm. This is the most unique world building of any fantasy romantasy book I have ever read. This is just absolutely beautiful and stunning. It has a season court setup, which is similar to ACOTAR, but after having read ACOTAR, I can say that her world building and scenic imagery and descriptions of these seasonal courts are miles more unique and miles more immersive than Sarah J. Maas, which is a very hot take, but you will just absolutely fall in love with these characters. The Goblin King and Freya are just incredibly charismatic with each other. It's a bit of an enemies to lovers as well. And did I mention that this is a Labyrinth retelling for all of our David Bowie Labyrinth fans out there? Like, I am one of David Bowie's biggest fans, especially of Labyrinth, so this was incredibly perfect for me. I was lucky enough to be gifted this by Emma Hamm herself, and she actually signed the inside cover for me, so I am just so incredibly thankful that I got the chance to read this incredible fantasy series. It makes it seem like I get gifted things often. I really don't. It's just happen to be my favorites. 3rd on my list is Shark Heart by Emily Habeck. This is a literary fiction book, I believe. I'm not exactly sure the parameters on literary fiction, but I think it fits within those. This was the most devastating book I have ever read. I cried so hard. I don't think a book has ever made me cry so hard that my girlfriend physically had to come in and hold me until I calmed down. Like, this was... This is about the journey of a newlywed couple who are so deeply in love, and the husband is slowly developing this genetic mutation that is turning him into a shark heart fully thoroughly wrecked me, and I don't think I'm ever going to stop thinking about that book. My top 4 of 2024 is Immortal Dark by Tigest Girma. This is an all-black cast written by a black author, which is incredible. I've never read a black vampire book, and now I don't want to stop. This is very secret society, dark academia, university setting, dark vampire novel. I adored everything about this, and the copy itself is so beautiful. Look at that. It's got like a little... It's just so beautiful. Immortal Dark is following our main characters, Kidan and Sesenios. Kidan is a mortal, Sesenios is her house vampire, and basically the two of them trying to like make peace with each other with their house. Like, the house itself is like living. These like on-campus houses of like the grand families of these like societies. They have to like systematically break down all of the like political unrest and corruption within this society to truly find the secrets about who she is, what happened to her missing sister, all of this while trying to corroborate with the idea that maybe vampires aren't the bad guy, but some of them definitely are in this book. So Immortal Dark by Tigest Girma is definitely top vampire book of the year. I think you should check it out as well if you're into that thing. Next, I want to do 1 recommendation and 2 books on my TBR for winter. I feel like winter books, especially like January, February, are very much overlooked. A lot of people just want to start spring right away, but I think we really need to honor this time of like deep frozen winter. Everything is frozen around me. There's so much snow. I'm freezing, so I think I need my books to reflect that. And the one that I read, the very first book I read this year, Dark Water Daughter by H.M. Long, perfectly encapsulates that within a lot of my other interests. The main character is a storm witch on pirate ships. Come on, that's literally perfect for me. She's in the Arctic Circle. There's fjords and glaciers, icebergs, all of these deep frozen setting around them. They're fighting through snowstorms on the ocean. Like, it is so incredible. This is a fantasy book. It's focusing on our primary source of witchcraft being storm witchery, and our main character trying to like grow into her powers to find her storm witch mother out on these pirate ships, and it is just so encapsulating. I cannot recommend it enough. 2 that are on my TBR. First is Voices in the Snow by Darcy Coates. When our main character wakes up in this mansion, trapped in a snowstorm, this mansion she's never been in, they're completely snowed in, all of a sudden the voices in the woods start to call to her. They're calling to these dark things inside of her, opening up this darkness around her, and is the house itself also adding to this perception? I just love good psychological books, like environmental psychological books. Basically, I love horror books where not everything is as it seems, and you're kind of having to figure it out while also seeing if it's really just the narrator's like brain going crazy or if it's actually happening. Like, I just think that's so much fun in a horror book. I love books like that. Also, like Very Nestlings by Nat Cassidy. Yeah. Just love books like that. So I think Voices in the Snow by Darcy Coates is going to be a really good read for me. After that, I want to read Lady Macbeth by Ava Reid. I think this will fit really good into the like medieval aesthetic I'm hoping to have more this year. It is kind of obviously a Macbeth retelling, and I think Lady Macbeth is one of the most interesting female characters in Shakespeare that was not fleshed out as much as she could have been. So I'm really excited to see how this book handles her character and if it has the medieval vibes I am hoping for this year.
I decorated the outside with this kind of gallery wall format with gold frames and washi tape down the spine. On the inside, I started with a junk journal collage of my trip to Pennsylvania over Christmas. I just love sticking random things like the order of a coffee sticker or the Christmas vacation scratch-off ticket in there. I think it just brings so much life. On my January 1st page, I did a tarot pool, my color of the year, crystal of the year, and then inside I'm doing entries with washi tape borders and kind of like medieval collages kind of in the middle to just decorate it and make it even more beautiful than it already is with just words. Almost every day I am trying to write in this journal and just recount kind of the day's events, my feelings on it, and just really dive deeper into how I'm feeling and processing those emotions. I feel like for a while I really shut out feeling anything, so journaling has really helped me get back into my mind and into this mindful state where I'm actually feeling everything in my body and my emotions, and I highly, highly recommend journaling like this. Even if you just write a couple words, usually it'll spiral into something bigger and something that you have been needing to get out. I like to pre-decorate the pages with the washi tape and art just to make it a little more easy to just dive right in and put entries on the page. Journaling is going to be a part of my routine and my life for a while, and I'm so happy to share that with you.
I hope 2025 brings you some of your favorite reads yet, and I'm really excited to share my journey with you guys through this YouTube and my TikTok as well, which is at Italian Witch Books. I am very active over on Book Talk, so check me out there if you haven't. I love making bookish content for you guys, so it is just an absolute dream that I'm able to do this, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Keep reading and let me know what some of your favorite winter reads are.